We all know from experience that moms never forget. From your first steps to those nights she caught you sneaking out, she's got everything logged away. So if somehow you messed around and forgot that Mother's Day is this Sunday, how do you think Mom's going to take it? Luckily for you, 1-800-Flowers has your back with an amazing offer. It'll make you feel a little better about waiting until the last minute. Right now, 1-800-Flowers is offering up to 40% off best-selling bouquets, arrangements, and other gifts that Mom is guaranteed to love. This offer is ending today, so take care of your Mother's Day needs right now. Bouquets and arrangements from 1-800-Flowers come with an impressive amount of fresh blooms that are guaranteed to make her smile. Up to 40% off at 1-800-Flowers.com is an amazing offer, but hurry because it expires today. Guys, seriously, the clock is ticking. Order today from 1-800-Flowers.com. It's what Mom would want you to do. To get the beautiful bouquets, arrangements, and other Mother's Day goodies at up to 40% off, go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, and enter code WINGO. That's 1-800-Flowers.com, code WINGO. Hurry, offer ends today.
Decking, railing, lighting, furniture, fencing, framing. At Trex, we make the most in outdoor living because you deserve to get more from your life outdoors. So why not start bringing your ideas to life now with the brand that's engineering what's next? To learn more about all of the outdoor solutions Trex has to offer, or to find a local retailer or a certified Trex Pro deck builder near you, visit Trex.com. That's Trex.com.
Golic and Wingo, ESPN Radio and ESPN News, presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests will join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Coming up in just a few minutes, Michael Collins, our ESPN golf analyst and former caddy on tour, will join us to talk about the first day of the TPC and what lies ahead for the players at the top of the leaderboard, as well as Tiger Woods, who looks like he's going to make the cut. Phil has no chance.
Little disappointing from the headlining group there of Tiger, Phil, and Ricky Fowler of how they finished.
9 over par collectively.
There are 6 people leading at 6 under, and none of them with those 3 names. So, a little disappointing. We'll see what they can do today.
Nobody in that group even under par.
Nope.
Although Tiger had a chance on the 18th, then rinsed that ball on 18. Mm-hmm. The most difficult tee shot on the tour is the 18th hole at TPC, no question about it. Carlos Boozer will join us in a little bit, 2-time NBA All-Star. And Teddy Atlas will be here at 9:30, our ESPN boxing analyst, to talk about the fights coming up over the weekend. We'll get to all that. But first, Michael, as we do, let's do what's trending. And you know what isn't trending? Home ice. Because it didn't matter at all in the Western Conference semifinals. Jets beat the Preds in Nashville 5-1 in Game 7, advancing to the conference finals to play the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Again, the road team won 5 of 7 games in this series.
Yeah, Mark Scheifele scored 7 goals in this series against the Predators, all of them on the road to go along with that road stat. It's been pretty amazing. Pekka Rinne got pulled in this one just over 10 minutes into the game, gave up 2 pretty soft goals, got yanked in this one. It was 2-1 after 1. It was 3-1 after 2, so Nashville's still in it, but the Jets put 2 on him in the third and ran away with this one, won at 5-1, so it's now Winnipeg against Vegas, just a little comparison going forward. Population in Winnipeg, 780,000. Vegas, 2.2 million. Average temperature, Vegas, 69 degrees. Winnipeg, 36 degrees. That's average temperature through the year. Annual snowfall, Winnipeg, not shockingly, just under 45 inches. Las Vegas, not shocking, 0. Seasons in NHL hockey, 24 for Winnipeg. Again, Winnipeg Jets, who ended up in Arizona as the Coyotes. This is a new franchise, Winnipeg, but still, hockey in Winnipeg, 24 years, and in Vegas, obviously, just 1 year. So a lot of differences there, but 2 teams playing extremely well.
And again, my favorite part about that, the average temperature in Winnipeg, which includes the summer months, 36 degrees.
So winter jacket's never out of style.
It is a chilly, chilly place. Nothing like February in Manitoba to get the blood flowing, for lack of a better term. Meanwhile, Red Sox avoid the sweep with a 5-4 win over the Yankees in the Bronx, thanks to an 8th-inning home run by J.D. Martinez. That was just beyond the reach of the incredible reach of Aaron Judge.
So one you had to really wait for a while, and in the call it was really undecisive on whether it went over the wall. And we'll play for it because there's an 8-foot right fielder out there.
Here's the call on WEEI of the eventual game-winning home run.
J.D. hits one high in the air to right field. Judge going back. Judge to the track. Yes. Judge to the wall. He leaps. And it is gone. A home run for Martinez. Just out of the reach of the webbing of the glove of Aaron Judge. And just like that, the Red Sox regain the lead. It's 5-4. Martinez with his 9th home run.
Again, we're not mocking WE.
No,
but
not at all.
that's like so difficult. It is. I don't know what happened. I want to make sure I get it right.
We know the dude can get his glove over the wall, any wall. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
But the Red Sox, they don't get swept here. They win 1-3 with this 5-4 win. The fun we had with Stanton and strikeouts, we said in the series, over or under 8 strikeouts. He only struck out one time.
Right.
One time in this series, and both teams sitting at 26-11, which, again, is fantastic for 37 games. But let's see it, as I said, at 158 games and playing right down to the wire. So two good teams continue moving forward.
And the Yankees had their 11-game home winning streak snap, but again, they take 2 out of 3, and these two look like they're in it for the long haul going forward. David Price looks like he's coming back to pitch.
If he can get past
his
carpal tunnel from what he doesn't say.
We'll get to that a little bit later.
Good story there.
That is a fascinating story. And we continue. The Angels beat the Twins 7-4 in Anaheim and remain percentage points ahead of the Astros in the AL West. And our guy Shohei did it again.
Here's the pitch. Ohtani lifts one high, and he hits it deep out there into center field. Out of here! Just to the left of the rocks out there. Ohtani goes deep. 5th home run of the season. Angels add on. It's now 7-4.
And, of course, when Shohei does that, we do this.
I want you to Shohei the way.
Really been amazing what he's done. Now, 65 at-bats. Where the top guys on the team were top at-bats, like they're in the 140s. But, listen, that's how many times he's been up, and he's doing a lot with it. Hitting .354, 5 home runs, 16 RBIs, 4 doubles, and I believe now 6 multi-hit games because he had a double to go along with that home run. So really doing well. 3-1 as a pitcher, over 4 ERA. Had that ankle injury, slowing that up a little bit. So we'll see him getting back to that as well. But boy, oh boy, living up after, again, coming over at his age and then having the bad spring and then doing what he's doing now. That's a storyline that obviously continues through the season.
And again, he's now hit 5 home runs, only given up 4. We'll see how that plays out going forward. That was the call, by the way, on Angels Radio AM 830 of that home run by Shohei Ohtani. Okay, we continue here on Golic and Wingo. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, including our next guest. Our golf analyst, Michael Collins, joins us from TPC at Sawgrass where the Players' Championship is underway. Michael, you know what wasn't trending yesterday? The featured group of Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, and Ricky Fowler. Listen, we have to ask, first and foremost, we know you're a fashion-forward guy. Give us your take on the golf dress shirt that Phil wore.
Okay, I am not going to lie. I even throw some shade on Twitter at Phil's Shirt's Twitter account, and they were like, why are you so sensitive? What you coming after us for? But as wrong as it is to wear a long sleeve looking like Jerry Seinfeld poofy dress shirt on the golf course, the fact that Phil owned it after his round and was like, hey, listen, I'm a middle-aged overweight dude, so this is kind of fits my profile. And I was thinking to myself, well, you know what? As a middle-aged, overweight guy myself, you know what I mean? So maybe I should just fit my own profile if it's going to be like that, you know? So it's going to be 90 today. I'll put on the bucket hat and the Oakleys. Fawn skins, like we just chilling. I need some flip-flops, some sandals maybe. I ain't got them yet. No, don't even think about putting that camera down there and looking at my Frodo toes. Don't even do that.
The comfort first, probably. Michael. That's all that matters.
That is a good look you got going on right now. And again, the reason Phil wore, again, a dress shirt, a button-down, long-sleeve dress shirt is because of wearing that, he's a part owner, he got some stake in this company, and got paid to boot. So most of us probably would be doing something like that if given a check and part ownership of the company. But I can't say, Michael, it looked too comfortable or, unfortunately for him and the company, provided too good of results here.
No, and that's the thing. Okay, I get it. You're part owner of the company. You're trying to sell some shirts. Then you know what you do? Because Phil's takes longer than anybody else in the scoring area than any other pro on tour. You hide one of those shirts in the scoring trailer, and when you finish, you come out, poof, in your dressy shirt, looking all nice and buttoned up. And it's long sleeve. And that's cool. But today's going to be 88. And you know what's not going to save you? A T-shirt. You're going to have sweat stains all over that thing, and it ain't going to look that good, even if you own the fact that you're middle-aged and overweight. So am I. But you know what I wear? short sleeves in the heat. Ta-da! That's why honestly though, no, I'm not going to lie. That's one of the reasons why those last 5 holes he was 7 over. Number one, you got so much adrenaline pumping through you because it's him and Tiger, and he knows it, and he wants to show out. And for 13 holes, he looked solid. And then the adrenaline crash came. He looked like a dude that was trying to drink a 5-hour energy, but someone had already taken a sip out of that little bottle, so he lost the last hour.
Yeah, it was crazy, Michael. At one point yesterday, Tiger was 2 over on the front side, and Phil was 1 under, and somehow Tiger finishes 7 strokes better than Phil thanks to that 4-hole implosion where Phil went double, bogey, double, double. Look, I know that we've talked about the idea of them getting together for a match. We'd love it. And Phil said, I don't know if Tiger wants a piece of me. Now, I know Tiger wasn't thrilled with the bogey on 18 to finish it over par, but I'm sure at some point he had to say, I'll take the piece that beat you by 7 today.
And here's the thing. Phil hit more fairways than what Tiger did. Phil hit 7 out of 14 fairways. Tiger only hit 5. But Tiger hit 11 greens, and Phil only hit 9 and then had 30 putts. So when Phil was like, maybe Tiger doesn't want a piece of me, Phil, I want a piece of you in that shirt. As long as we're playing somewhere where it's 90 degrees and humid, I got you. I know. And I'm 15 handicap. So I'm throwing that out there. Now, Tiger, when he was on the podium after his round talking about I felt like I could have shot in the 60s today, that was another one where I went, you only hit 5 fairways and 11 greens. And that one eagle that you made, that counted as a 0 putt. And before that, for the first 18 holes, he had 16 putts. So it's like, listen, Captain Confidence, I get you. And I know you got to feel that way. But let's be a little realistic here, okay? Like 1 under was good and was really good for where you were. So a par would have been great on 18, but a bogey and shooting even par, listen, you were playing in tougher conditions in the afternoon than the guys were in the morning. And now Tiger and Phil are going to get those easier conditions this morning, and the guys in the afternoon, they're going to have to deal with the wind that they didn't have to deal with on Thursday morning.
Talking to Michael Collins, again, our ESPN golf analyst. And so along those lines for today, of that 3, Ricky Fowler, he was the third one. He was 2 over. So Tiger would seem to have the best shot to make a kind of run. You just said better conditions in the morning. Where will he need to be? How good today to be in the mix for the weekend?
Well, if Tiger really wants to be in the mix for the weekend, he's got to shoot at the very least 68. If Tiger can be 4 under, then you still have 2 days and in conditions that are going to be similar to what the leaders are going to be having to play in, so he can make that move on the weekend. But 4 unders, which also means for Ricky Fowler, who shot 74, 2 over, he's got to shoot 66. So that was top of the leaderboard. So he's got to go from shooting 2 over to shooting the best round that was shot on Thursday. I don't know necessarily if it's out there for him with the way that he's playing, and Phil Mickelson, now you playing for pride. What you should do is, on his long sleeve shirt, and put the website where people can buy it on. If that's what you're trying to do, you might as well
go all in.
Walk around with a bill. Or make your brother wear the hat. Hey, buy it from me. Hey, check it out.
Michael Collins with us.
Here's
from the
the
TPC.
discount code.
Yeah, promo code Golic. Okay, Michael Collins with us, our ESPN
promo
golf
code
analyst.
Fat middle-aged guy.
Oh man, let's talk about the top of the leaderboard here, because it is a pretty good leaderboard. Obviously, a lot of eyes for a lot of reasons are fixated on that Tiger-Phil pairing, but you have Dustin Johnson, number 1 player in the world. Patrick Cantlay, a very young player. Matt Kuchar's there. And then Siwoo Kim, who won this event a year ago, started today only 1 stroke back. Chesson Hadley has already birdied one of his holes today, so he's at 7 under par. How good is the top of this leaderboard when you see all these big names that are just either tied for the lead or a couple strokes off?
I love seeing Chesson Hadley at the top of the leaderboard. He is sponsored by Bojangles Chicken.
Oh.
And he is the skinniest dude out here. Literally, if me and Chesson stand next to each other, we look like the number 10. So, and I made fun of the fact that you can't be that skinny and sponsored by a fried chicken place. And he goes, imagine what I'd look like if I didn't eat fried chicken. I go, well, okay, you got me there. You would look like a microphone stand, probably. But be honest, like, we all forgot about Dustin Johnson. I mean, this was world number 1. And it was almost like he was vanished a little bit because everyone was so focused on the Tiger-Phil-Ricky pairing or the Justin-Jordan-Rory pairing. And it was like people walked up to Dustin and was like, hey, man, if you don't play good, you're going to lose your number 1 world ranking. And DJ was like, hey, bro, hold my beer. I'll be right back. And here he goes. And he's never finished inside the top 10 here. He had only broken 73 times. He shot 68 in 2014, 1 round, 2016, 1 round, and 2017. That's it. His best finish has been 12. But now world number 1, hitting it long and straight, and he doesn't have to be crazy long around here. Dude's got it figured out. This leaderboard for the Players' Championship, even though the marquee groups aren't lighting it up, this leaderboard looks really solid. And watch out for Sergio, too. Even though he finished double and a bogey, he had got to 7 under par and had the lead alone. And then those 3 strokes that he had to give back put him at 4 under, but he's still a dangerous dude.
Michael Collins joining us again, our analyst, but also former caddy. So I want to ask, I want you to wear that hat right now. 24 balls hit in the water on 17, the most in the first round since 50 were hit in the water in 2007. Talk about the discussions caddy and golfer are having on the 17th. Do you talk? Do you not talk? Do you not address the elephant in the room? How do you deal with that, the mentality-wise, because so many people not get in the water?
Well, the hole's going to be in a different position today than what it was on Friday than what it was on Thursday. Thursday, it was front left, and it brought the water into play. Now, as a caddy, we don't say, don't hit it in the water, because then all players are going to think is water, water, water. What we're going to say is, I like this club in these conditions with a little helping wind because I know it covers. And when I say cover, that means covers the front edge of the green. And most of the time, you're trying to hit it over top of that flagstick and land it into that slope. Now, when you say, do caddies and players not talk? After the ball goes in the water, we probably not going to talk for the rest of that hole and might not talk much on 18. But when you get back to that hole today, the important thing is, as the caddy, if you know your boy's not playing all that great and not hitting it fantastic, when you get to that tee, I'm going to say stuff that's going to make you so confident. Like, he's going to grab a club, and I was like, bro, it's been a while since we had a hole-in-one. Want to do this? Want to do it? And that right there put them in a confident mental place so that yesterday never even happened. And you don't talk about yesterday either. You don't, hey, don't worry about yesterday. You got this. That's a quick way to get the bib taken off. You be like, hey, Tim, you want to come in here and take the bag? Because I messed up. I'm sorry. He mad. He crying.
Yeah, listen,
I'm sorry.
Golfers have to be like cornerbacks when it comes to 17, a very, very short memory. But as Michael,
exactly. Yeah. That's exactly right.
As Michael Collins is with us, our golf analyst and former caddy from TPC, everyone talks about 17 because it's so unique. It's the island green. And all the balls went in the water yesterday. But historically, going into this tournament, over the course of the championship being played at this event, there had been more balls in the water on 18 than on 17. And people don't understand how difficult that tee shot is because you have all that water to the left and you got trees to the right. It looks like you're trying to hit a shoestring of a fairway on 18.
Well, that's the problem. The problem is when there's water on the left-hand side, guys will be like, they're going to hang on. Don't hit it in the water. But that means the bailout right puts you behind some horrific trees that you can't. A lot of guys like hitting stingers, but out of this rough, the ball jumps, which means it's going to jump up in the air, and you're going to hear whap, 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 and then it comes down in the pine straw. And as the caddy, you get that look. And I'm always, you look back to play, what you looking at me for? You didn't, I didn't say, hey, 4-iron punch up into the trees. But you can. You got to stay positive. But that's the one hole that there's no bailout. There's nowhere to go, well, I can hit it here and just kind of be safe. You just got to grab your Pro V1s and go, I'm just going to have to hit it down the middle, and that's it. And that's what you see the champions do. If you remember Ricky Fowler, the year he won, he took drive route on this hole and hit it like 340. Just sent it. It was awesome.
All right, you have me thinking now when you said golfer looks back at caddy, like what just happened. What's the worst piece of advice you gave, whether it was a club selection, reading the green, whatever it was, where you knew you were wrong, whoever you were caddying for stared at you and just stared a hole through you because they knew how bad you blew that one?
On a Monday qualifier, on the last hole, I was caddying for John E. Morgan, who is from England. and it was to try and get in the tournament Doral back when it was a regular tournament, and he asked me for the read. And I wasn't 100% sure, but I looked at it, and I said with confidence, I was like, this putt's going up. It's going to break about a ball from right to left. And right here's the spot. And as soon as I walked away, everything in my gut was like, yeah, you messed that up. And I was like, no. And then, you got the two guys on your shoulder, and the one guy's like, hey, that was good. You spoke up and did what you're supposed to do. And the other guy was like, dummy, you did it wrong, and now you guys aren't playing next week. And, of course, he hits the putt, and it goes right. Completely misses the hole, and I get that look.
Well, you know what? We're happy to have that look now on this show. Just want you to know that. And I want you to rock the bucket hat and the flip-flops and the shades today, because that will win the fashion statement no matter what Phil does. Michael, always good to talk to you, my friend.
Thanks, Michael.
I got the bucket hat and the sunglasses, but I ain't walking 7 miles in no flip-flops. Not with my Frodo toes.
We are ready to roll. Michael Collins with us as the second round is underway at the Players' Championship.
Is so entertaining.
Oh, he's hilarious.
But he explains golf extremely well about all the things you need to look for, but he is so good at it.
Absolutely. And again, a reminder, you can catch some of the feature groups today on ESPN Plus, including the second round of Tiger, Phil, and Ricky coming up in just a few minutes.
I would love to hear Caddy say back to the golfer when he looks at it, what are you looking at me for?
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't say you hit it in trees.
You hit it. Yeah, that would be the last time, I think, that Caddy would work
together. Better be a really good relationship.
Oh, man. Golic and Wingo, presented by 1-800-Flowers.com. If you forgot that Mother's Day is this Sunday, you're an idiot. And you only have a few hours to fix it. Luckily, 1-800-Flowers is offering up to 40% off best-selling bouquets and arrangements. To order now, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/ESPN. Coming up, can Game 1 of a playoff series be the most important game of a 7-game set? We'll ask Carlos Boozer about that next.
Washing my nose, oh yeah.
I'm a shower curtain, and I do one thing, keep water from leaking everywhere. So you see why I feel useless compared to Geico, who does so much more. Like, not only could Geico save you money, but they've been around for over 75 years. And they give you 24/7 access online, over the phone, or on the Geico app. And they've got a 97% customer satisfaction rating. They do all this while I have to listen to this chucklehead. Oh, good, he stopped.
Washing my toes.
Oh, great, an encore.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Yeah,
Golic and Wingo, ESPN Radio and ESPN News. And it's also that feeling when we have our booze cruise. And we are delighted once again to join us two-time NBA All-Star Carlos Boozer with us on the phone. Booze, how are you, my man, this morning? How are things going?
Morning, guys. How you doing? I'm doing great.
We're doing good. We're doing good. When you get to the conference finals, does it finally feel like, hey, we've been waiting for this for a long time as a player. Let's get down to it?
I mean, it feels like that when you get to the playoffs. When you get to the conference finals, you realize that you're one step closer to getting to the championship. I never got to the finals, but I've been to the conference finals a couple of times, and I remember we were all excited to get there. We lost to the Spurs when I was with Utah Jazz, who were a loaded team, obviously ended up winning the championship that year. And then in Chicago, we lost to the Heat, so with LeBron and the rest of the crew. So it was difficult because when you don't get to the finals, you feel like you failed, but you also got very far, and you hope that the next year you get over the hump. Yeah, this is a great time of the year.
So I'm sorry for bringing up such a painful memory.
Now, Carlos, along those lines, we talk about Game 1, and whenever we talk about pressure, there's pressure on both teams, obviously. But Game 1 for the home team. So go back to your conference championship days and talk about that, the pressure that is on that home team in Game 1 to get that one under their belt.
Yeah, it's a great deal of pressure. Obviously you're at home, so most times you're the favorite. Most times I would say you're the favorite. And I think that in this case we got, 4 really good teams. The 2 teams that are at home, you look at the Boston Celtics, who are young, a little inexperienced, but they're playing beyond their years. They're very well coached by Brad Stevens. They got a veteran guy over there, Al Horford, who's doing a great job of leading the way. And they have a lot of young talent around him that are playing incredible. You look at the Houston Rockets, who have been successful in the regular season a couple of years, and they have a megastar in James Harden, who's probably the MVP. Even though LeBron's been playing incredible this year. But let's say James Harden ends up getting the MVP. He has a lot of pressure on his shoulders because of the way that he played in his closeout game last year, where it was like an out-of-body experience. It really wasn't the real James Harden that we used to accustomed to seeing. And then also Chris Paul, who had an incredible closeout game against the Pelicans, putting up over 40 points, which is a career high for him, which is incredible. I don't know if he'll do the same thing against Steph Curry and the rest of the Golden State Warriors, but we'll see. And then on the flip side of that, guys, LeBron is very poised. He's been in a lot of conference finals. He's been in a lot of finals, obviously, as we know, maybe going to his 8th one this year if he can get by the Celtics. But as a road team coming in, he has a lot of experience, right? And the rest of those guys do too, Kevin Love, J.R. Smith included. So they're going to come with a certain bravado, a certain calm, a certain poise. Same to be said about the Golden State Warriors. They've won 2 championships in 3 years. They're seeking their fourth finals appearance in a row. Even though they're the road team in this scenario, they're very poised. They've been under every kind of pressure you can imagine, and they performed very well. So it's going to be a very interesting game one in both conferences.
Carlos Boozer with us, 2-time NBA All-Star. I'm glad you brought that up about the experience factor, because I stumbled across this nugget in looking ahead to the Eastern Conference Finals, and it really floored me. LeBron James's career playoff minutes, 9,582. The entire Boston Celtics roster career playoff minutes, 8,015. How much do you think, if at all, that will factor into this series?
I mean, a lot. I mean, from one perspective, you could say, well, the Celtics they're well rested. You know, they're going to have some fresh legs, and on the other side, even though we like to say that LeBron has a lot of miles on his body, he's not slowing down. I think you guys can attest after watching the games that he's played in this. He's played phenomenal. But I'm going to tell you, though, I think experience plays a big part. You guys have watched the playoffs before. You look at that Philadelphia team. They were in every game. Most games they were up. Some games they were up by almost 20 points, and they still lost. I think a lot of that has to deal with inexperience. They don't have a guy like an Al Horford who's playing major minutes, who is a veteran. I'm not saying that Brett Brown isn't a good coach. I think he is, but I think Brad Stevens outcoached him a little bit in that series. I don't know what your opinion is on that, but I think so. So I think at the end of the day, experience plays a huge part when you're trying to win a championship.
Talking to Carlos Boozer again, 2-time NBA All-Star, NCAA champ, as well as an Olympic gold medalist. So along the lines with this, knowing the matchup with the Celtics and the Cavs, after obviously LeBron and then after Kevin Love, who has to be the most consistent player for the Cavaliers to advance to the finals?
It's a great question. I mean, I had kind of a toss-up, and it's tough to put this kind of pressure on these two guys, but it is what it is. I think scoring-wise, I would say Kyle Korver. I just think I know he's had some great games in the postseason, 18 points, 20 points, knocking down huge shots. He's been, almost like their third best scorer consistently for the Cavs. And I think Tristan Thompson, I think there's a lot of pressure on him to play well. I think Al Horford's been doing an incredible job against some really good centers in the Eastern Conference. Just finishing up with Embiid out there in Philadelphia, who's a phenomenal talent. I think he's going to have a huge role in this series. And see what happens with him and Kevin Love. But I think if you put Tristan Thompson, that energy, offensive rebounding, his defense, his rim protection, that could play huge for them. And if Kyle Korver's knocking down big shots, that helps LeBron out a lot.
Carlos Boozer with us, talking about the NBA's conference finals, and the Eastern Conference Finals are on ESPN Radio. Tune in to Game 1 Sunday as Jason Tatum and the Celtics host LeBron and the Cavs, presented by Indeed. Coverage begins at 3 p.m. Eastern on most ESPN radio stations. Okay, let's go back to the West there for a second, because you talked about the importance of Game 1. GM Daryl Morey of the Rockets, has said all along, we're obsessed with beating the Golden State Warriors and trying to find a way to do that. And they did it in the regular season. They took 2 out of 3. And they have home court advantage. But if Golden State waltzes in there and then takes home court advantage away in Game 1, what does that do mentally to all the blood, sweat, and toil that the Rockets have put into making sure they got home court advantage for this exact scenario?
Yeah, I hate to break it to you, but this is not the regular season. And I know those games were awesome. I watched them. I'm sure you watched them. They were fun to watch. But let's be very clear. I felt like the Warriors were kind of bored with the regular season because they've done very well. Which I'm not trying to knock any Warrior fans. I know a lot of Warrior fans tuning in, but they were looking forward to the postseason. I guess I'll say it that way. They were really excited to get to the postseason, even though the Houston Rockets won those games. That's not what it is. Right? This is a whole different environment. This is the games that are going to lead to who's going to the finals from the Western Conference. So. Even though the Rockets did a great job in those games and won 2 out of 3, this is a whole different environment for them. And I think, this is going to be exciting. I think they're going to play very well. I think there's a lot of pressure on James Harden. I think there's a lot of pressure on Chris Paul. I think Clint Capella is very underrated, needs to be talked about even more because he's been blocking shots, rebounding. But this team was, like you said, constructed to compete with the Warriors. They brought in P.J. Tucker. They have Bob Moute. They have Trevor Reeves. Obviously, they still have the Sixth Man of the Year and Eric Gordon. And they have the rest of that cast that's been doing a phenomenal job this year. I'm just curious if they're going to be able to keep up with the Warriors. You know, if somehow you slow down Kevin Durant, which is a tall task, and we haven't seen it done. We haven't seen it done. If you slow down Kevin, you still got Steph Curry. And if somehow you're able to slow down Steph Curry, which was incredible what he's done, he's been back after missing 2 or 3 months or whatever he missed. He's played terrific. Then they still got Klay Thompson. And then if you somehow slow down Klay Thompson, they got Draymond Green making plays for everybody. It's just they have a lot over there. And then if somehow you're able to slow down all 4 of those All-Stars, they come off the bench with Iguodala, who makes plays, and they come off the bench with Sean Livingston. Now, on the flip side of that coin is if you slow down James Harden, then are you relying on Chris Paul to average 35 or 40? You know, there's just Eric Gordon going to average 30 points in the final. These are all questions that have to be answered.
So after we see the answers to those questions and the NBA Finals starts, what 2 teams are in it?
You know, let me get to that. So I'm going to be honest. Last year, even though I really do love watching the NBA. I love watching the playoffs. It was kind of like, okay, can we get to the finals already to watch Golden State and Cleveland? Can we just get there already? Even though it was, obviously we did see some great things last year. This year's playoffs to me has been way more entertaining. We saw some great surprises with the Utah Jazz beating OKC. We saw Philadelphia grow up in front of our eyes. We've seen a Boston team who was, without their stars and Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward getting coached by a great coach and playing terrific, going all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, and we'll see what happens with that. But the bottom line, when the rubber meets the road, it's going to be the Warriors and the Cavs again. In my mind, I think it's going to be Cleveland and the Warriors again. But it was a much sexier playoffs.
Yes,
agreed.
There's no question about that. But it may end up with a 4-peat of what we've seen the last 3 years.
Right.
And thus endeth our Friday morning booze cruise. Carlos, we appreciate you being with us. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Carlos.
Anytime, guys.
Distance makes the heart grow fonder.
We will actually. It's absence makes the heart grow fonder, but distance is close enough.
Is it really absence?
Absence makes the heart.
The actual saying is absence makes the heart grow. Maybe that'll be in Brettomology at one point.
We're not taking requests, you guys.
Whoa! Wow. Brett takes his stuff
from
seriously.
The top rope, Brett.
Smoke. SportsCenter brought to you by 1-800-Flowers.com. If your big Mother's Day surprise consists of one crafted text message, just don't do it. You're going to get smoked on that one. 1-800-Flowers here to bail you out. 24 multicolored roses plus a free vase starting at $29.99. For details, go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click that radio icon, and enter the code WINGO.
All right, as we continue here on Golic and Wingo, everybody in New England believes that Tom Brady is the GOAT, greatest of all time.
Yes.
In fact, last year at training camp when he showed up, people actually brought pet goats to the practice, and Tom drove by a bunch of the goats. A lot of people believe Tom Brady is the GOAT,
right?
The greatest of all time. However, in his hometown where he plays, not from California,
right.
but where he plays, his home sports town, he's not even the GOAT there.
No, he is not.
He is not. Would you like to explain?
There was a wager between, obviously, New England and Philadelphia, and the winning team got to have a goat at a zoo in the losing team city named after him.
Correct.
So there is a goat in the, I don't know what
New
zoo.
England Franklin Park Zoo in Boston.
There you go. There's a goat now named Foles.
On April 23rd, Foles, the Nigerian dwarf goat, was born. The zoo introduced Foles to the world on Tuesday, and he said their tweet was, "We don't kid around when it comes to Super Bowl bets, so today we make good on our wager with the Philly Zoo and introduce to you Foles, the 2-week-old Nigerian dwarf goat at the Franklin Park Zoo."
By the way, if you see a video of that goat, it's very cute.
He's a cute goat.
Very, very cute goat now named Foles, so that's paying off the bet.
But have you ever seen the thing where, like, where goats get scared and they just freeze?
Yes.
It's one of the funniest things
amazing.
of all time.
Yeah.
They just, they freeze and just fall over stiff as a board.
Yep.
It's like they have complete paralysis for a while, and then they eventually shake it up. I saw that once for the first time. I was like, that is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
Let's hope that doesn't happen to Foles.
No, we don't want that to happen to Foles, and we don't like it when people scare the goats. But when the goats are scared, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've been talking about this Phil Mickelson
Right.
golf dress shirt, which, by the way, is not helping him. I think he bogeyed again.
He bogeyed the first hole, yes. Yeah, he did.
He's now
So he's
8 over par for the tournament. And it looked uncomfortable. It's 80 plus degrees in Ponte Vedra Beach, so it is going to be warm, and he's got more layers on than he possibly needs. And you had a story about your most uncomfortable moment.
Jersey that I wore, and it cost me money.
Yeah.
So I was playing with the Dolphins my last year in the league, 1993. And they had these jerseys that like were long and then buttoned, underneath. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They buttoned so they wouldn't untuck.
Right.
So they buttoned
kept
under
everything
the
buttoned
crotchal
up.
area.
Yes.
There was buttons
like
there.
long johns, basically.
There you go. And the jersey comes down and it has flap in the front and the back that buttoned in, that area there.
In the nether region.
So your jersey wouldn't come untucked.
In the Yadier Molinas.
It was not comfortable at all.
Yeah.
So I did not button said buttons.
You untucked it.
No. I just unbuttoned. I tucked my jersey in, but it was unbuttoned. So through the course of a game, it became untucked.
Right.
Now these are long jerseys because it has to button under there. So it really hung down there low while it was untucked.
The idea of a button jersey makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, it wasn't comfortable, but that was their way because the league, uniform code, keep the jersey tucked in. Well, this was a way to do it. You got that button there, it ain't coming untucked.
Why not use Velcro or Staples?
I don't know, but they didn't. So I unbuttoned it, and it came untucked. It was during a game. I'm can be a little short during a game at times.
Yeah.
And a ref was telling me to tuck it in, and I didn't tuck it in. You're telling me to tuck it in. Finally, I told him.
You tuck it in.
I did. In
tuck
not
this, buddy.
In not the nicest way. I told him to tuck it in if he wanted it tucked in so badly.
In the pheasant plucker way.
There you go. And it turns out I got fined $7,500.
Come on.
For the jersey being untucked, violating the uniform code.
So,
okay.
By the way, people don't know that there's a team rep.
Oh yeah,
that does that. So
there's an NFL rep that goes around in pregame, looking at the players,
and they're all former players.
All former players.
So former player narked you out for a $7,500 fine.
$7,500. I mean, didn't really have to narc me out. I was on the field and I didn't tuck it in.
Yeah.
He kept telling me to tuck it in, and I told him to blank and tuck it in if he wanted to tuck it in so bad. So I got fined $7,500. Unbeknownst to me, my agent told the league that it was the jersey, the way it was made, and blamed basically the equipment.
So the league blamed the jersey.
No. My agent, to try and get my fine rescinded, blamed the equipment.
Okay.
And the fine got dropped down a little bit, but I was great friends with Bobby Monica, the equipment manager.
Right.
I would go in every single morning and have a cup of coffee with him.
Yeah.
Great guy, one of the best. Handled everything there. But after this incident happened, I went to go in there one morning. He wouldn't let me in. My picture was on the wall with a X. He said, "You blamed the equipment.
Oh.
You blamed." So he got, in essence, you blamed me for your fine. He said, "You are banned from this." 2 weeks I was banned. 2 weeks I was banned from going in and hanging out with him and having my morning coffee.
Did you explain it wasn't me?
He said, "Listen." He gave me the line. Do you work for your agent, or does the agent work for you?
That's a fair
point. And I said, it's fair point.
That's a fair
Nothing
point.
I could say.
How is that relationship now?
Great relationship.
Okay,
I saw him at a golf tournament last year. Great relationship. Absolutely. Yeah. But, he nailed me there. Right. I got nailed for the fine, and he banned me from hanging out in his office for 2 weeks.
We talk about the big stuff here on this show. Yep. Coming up, love it or shove it. We all know from experience that moms never forget. From your first steps to those nights she caught you sneaking out, she's got everything logged away. So if somehow you messed around and forgot that Mother's Day is this Sunday, how do you think Mom's going to take it? Luckily for you, 1-800-Flowers has your back with an amazing offer. It'll make you feel a little better about waiting until the last minute. Right now, 1-800-Flowers is offering up to 40% off best-selling bouquets, arrangements, and other gifts that Mom is guaranteed to love. This offer is ending today, so take care of your Mother's Day needs right now. Bouquets and arrangements from 1-800-Flowers come with an impressive amount of fresh blooms that are guaranteed to make her smile. Up to 40% off at 1-800-Flowers.com is an amazing offer, but hurry because it expires today. Guys, seriously, the clock is ticking. Order today from 1-800-Flowers.com. It's what Mom would want you to do. To get the beautiful bouquets, arrangements, and other Mother's Day goodies at up to 40% off, go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, and enter code WINGO. That's 1-800-Flowers.com, code WINGO. Hurry, offer ends today.
At Trex, we know there's a place for wood in your backyard. We recommend the fire pit. But when it comes down to choosing the right material for your next deck, look no further than the superior beauty and durability of the world's #1 premium decking brand. Trex delivers the look of wood without all of the work and the worry, and it's made from 95% recycled materials, which makes it the right choice for your backyard 100% of the time. To learn how to make Trex your next deck, visit Trex.com to order samples.
Golic and Wingo with you on a Friday morning on ESPN Radio and ESPN News, presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, and it is continuing to be a dart show at the Players Championship. Wow. Patrick Cantlay is
he was one of the six at six under. He's played 3 holes. How's it gone for him?
He's 3 under par.
Wow.
That's birdie by my math. Or technically, I guess it could be par eagle birdie. Let's check on his scorecard.
Let's check on his scorecard, shall we? It is birdie.
Yeah. He's off to a good start.
I'd say so.
Yeah. So he's off to a good start. Phil Mickelson is not off to a good start.
No.
He bogeyed the first hole. He is now 8 over par for the championship. And Tiger Woods is still at level par as they're playing in that group right now, which you can catch on ESPN Plus, the featured group of Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, and Ricky Fowler. At 8 over par, only 3 players are worse right now than Phil Mickelson, and that'd be Derek Fathauer, Brandt Snedeker, and Ben Martin.
Yeah, it's a struggle now for Phil and his dress shirt.
Legitimately real, but he's out there.
Yeah, he's out there. He's out there in a dress shirt again, going to be 88 degrees. He's going to feel that coming up, I'm sure, the last few holes of this one when it gets to, as they tend to be right after noon. I'm sure it'll be nice and warm.
That's commitment to the cause.
Yeah, it is. Hey, more power to him. Again, for those wondering why he's wearing a button-down dress shirt, he's part owner of that company or given part ownership of that company, plus getting paid as well to be the spokesperson for that. So he is wearing it.
Yeah.
More power to him.
He's owning it, as
the whole idea of the shirt is the comfort, and I'm sure it is very comfortable. I'm sure it is, but and I know people are bringing up, do you realize, back in the day, they golfed and golfed.
But you know what? We're not back in the day.
Yeah, exactly right.
That's the thing. Technology has helped us. And I get it, by the way. These shirts are very comfortable.
Yes, I get it.
When you wear them in non-athletic, they stretch, they move, they're great. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if I'd want to swing. Oh, and Phil's got a precarious little spot.
They have these little, and watching this, if you've seen, they have these little baby bunkers.
Pot bunkers, they're tiny.
But when I say pot bunker, I think at the Open.
Yeah.
Those deep bunkers, these are like little, circumference-wise, they're not very big.
No, they're
like baby bunkers.
They're screw you bunkers.
Yeah, it seems so.
Really?
And you know what?
Really?
That's exactly what they're doing to Phil.
I mean,
because he's been in a nose problem.
He's standing in that bunker right now. That bunker can't be more than 4 feet across.
It's hilarious.
It is.
It's pretty wild.
Now, he's there in 2 on a par 5, so that's the good news.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But the bad news is,
he's there.
He's on the green. Yeah. Okay. So again, you can watch that on ESPN Plus. But now let's get to what's trending, and what didn't trend in the Western Conference semifinals was home ice. The visiting team won 5 of the 7 games between the Preds and the Jets, including the Jets in Game 7 in Nashville. They won 3 games in Nashville as they take the series 5-1. After allowing 2 early goals. It was an early night for Pekka Rinne.
Yeah, it was. Earliest goalie pulled in a Game 7 in this situation, just over 10 minutes. The other 2 were pulled after the first period. So this just after halfway through the period, he gets pulled, and they make it 2-1, and then it's 3-1 after the second period. So they're still right there, but Winnipeg puts a couple of more on them in the third, and that Game 7, you just want that overtime hockey, and unless you're a Jet fan or a Predator fan, then you don't. The Jet fans who want exactly what they saw, a 5-1 win, is they'll now start their series. Both conference championships are set. They against Vegas, and of course Washington, who finally got over the Pittsburgh Penguin hump, will take on Tampa Bay in the other conference final.
And again, the disparity between Winnipeg, Manitoba, and Las Vegas, Nevada is just glorious.
It really is. The average temperature in Winnipeg is 36 degrees.
That's for the year.
Average for the year.
We're not talking about the winter months. For the year, 36 degrees.
And in Vegas, it's 69 degrees, and snowfall in Vegas, not 1 inch.
No.
And in Winnipeg, just under 45 inches. So big differences, but 2 really good hockey teams.
You're going to have to pack very differently for both.
Yes, you are.
Depending on where that series is being played. Well, this is one of the more interesting stories of the young baseball season. Red Sox pitcher David Price said Thursday that video games are not the cause of his carpal tunnel syndrome, but stressed he will not play the popular game Fortnite in the team's clubhouse again, quote, to avoid the distraction it has already caused, end quote. He went on to say, I've always played it with my teammates during the offseason, at the field, at the hotel. That's kind of my generation. That's what we do.
He's a big gamer. And listen, that's huge right now. Video games, monster. What do you think? Legs was in here yesterday talking about the video golf that he plays. But
on
these
his
guys,
iPad, yeah.
These guys will take it on the road, on road trips. They're playing in the hotel rooms, hooking them up, playing video games. And Fortnite is obviously the game out there right now for anybody that's living under a rock. But playing it in the clubhouse before the game, said, yeah, no way it's the cause of my carpal tunnel, but I'll stop anyway just so it's not a distraction. But isn't that amazing?
Have you ever played Fortnite?
I have not.
Have you ever watched somebody play Fortnite?
I have watched people play.
It's
yes.
fascinating.
It's unreal. Where video games have come from when you and I were young playing Pong.
Yeah. Atari. Dot. Back, forth, cat, two toys.
Exactly. Now, what's going on now is just ridiculous.
Well, look at even the Madden game evolution from when I first came out
without question.
Everything. It's just amazing.
Listen, and to show you how more realistic they are, back when Tecmo Bowl, I was a star.
Hey, there you go.
So, I mean, just
my age, the mind starts playing tricks.
There you go. It's exactly right. There was one year I had 26 sacks. Yeah. Which, would have almost tripled what I really got on the field. I wanted to go in and ask for a raise.
And how'd that go?
It didn't go well.
There you go. But you know what? The fact that you took your shot, I like that. And Matt Harvey has joined the Reds and will start Friday against the Dodgers. The former Met joined his Reds teammates in Los Angeles Thursday and will start Game 2 of the series tonight. It'll be on a pitch count.
Yeah, listen, didn't want to go to the bullpen, certainly didn't want to go to the minors, so he refused to go, and now he ends up with the Reds. He's back in the starting rotation. He gets a chance to kind of reinvent himself a little bit, see if he can, carry the weight of being a starter or what direction's this going to go. He got what he wanted. He didn't like the direction he was going with the Mets, so he gets a new start here from an individual side of it. Certainly the Mets a better team than the Reds right now. I don't think, obviously, the Reds aren't competing for anything. And the Mets, everybody just keeps waiting for the shoe to drop on more injuries there or bad play. But he gets to kind of reinvent himself and start over again and see if he can do it in the starting rotation or if that's going to be his future or not.
Look, you always hear, hey, this player needs a fresh start. Yeah. I don't know of anybody in baseball more recently that needed a fresh start more than Matt Harvey. We'll see if it pays off for him. By the way, Golic and Wingo reminding you that baseball season is underway. Tune in this Sunday as Bryce Harper and the Nationals visit the D-backs. Presented by Wendy's. Coverage of Sunday Night Baseball begins at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPNradio.com, and the ESPN app, and at 8 p.m. on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app. Meanwhile, it's that time. Time for a little love it or shove it. You ready? Everything has nuance. Nothing happens in black and white. See, Bubba's going to hate me again, but I think there's nuance here. You guys have to embrace the nuance in life. Oh, wait, hold on. There's two questions there. Life is not black and white. It's mostly gray.
Just answer the question.
No, well, which one do you want me to answer? No, you're loving that. You're loving the statement.
You love it or shove it. It's a statement, and then you love it or shove it. This is the first time playing.
No, it's not, and it should probably be the last time playing. All right, here it is. Bubba's back with us, still rocking his Mets T-shirt.
Yep.
Is it Tebow? Is that Tebow?
It is Tebow. What's amazing is no matter what, and we don't even show him walking in on the TV for people watching on TV walking in, but he refuses to be sitting here when the segment starts. Yeah. He has to walk in like
feels like
walk-up music or something like that. It's
ridiculous. Yeah, well, I'm contractually obligated only to be in here for a certain amount of time, so I'm not just going to dilly-dally.
Love It or Shove It brought to you by Grainger. Wow. And by the way, clearly, Love It or Shove It not brought to you by a razor or a comb when you look at Bubba. He's sort of like just got off of
he's disheveled.
7 days in the wilderness.
But that's because he's so busy writing these incredible Love It or Shove It questions, right?
I write them all.
Did you go to see Tebow play when he was in Hartford?
I did, yeah. Sorry I missed you guys on Wednesday. I'm sure a lot of people were asking, where's Bubba? Where's Bubba? Where's Bubba?
Actually, not one person mentioned it, but glad you asked anyway.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I went Monday night. Yeah.
How'd he do?
He played, so,
Well, we got a couple of bats.
All right.
Hartford, though. Great place.
Did you guys hang out, you and Tim?
No, he was busy.
Okay.
I tried, but
stalker.
But yeah, keep me updated. Speaking of events, though, the Pinehurst, because I know, like I said, sad to miss the Yard Goats,
right?
But
oh,
keep me updated.
If it happens, it's
show talent thing.
Golic, Wingo,
show talent. Yeah,
show.
It's probably not going to happen, though.
Yeah, probably not.
So okay, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
we'll let you know.
I don't think it's going to happen.
We'll let you know.
Yeah,
we'll be in touch.
Okay.
All right.
All right. What do we got?
Other than LeBron, Brad Stevens is the most important person in the Eastern Conference Finals. Love it or shove it.
Come on. Listen, I get all the talk of the genius, but I shove this. I mean, yes, he draws up some excellent plays that the players talk about, but the players are the ones playing on the court, okay? They're the ones getting the job done that have to get the job done. If they advance, nobody is going to say the Celtics moved on to the NBA Finals because of Brad Stevens. He'll be part of the story, but the headliners are going to be the actual players that are on the court. So I as great as a coach as I think he is, I shoved this one.
So who would you say is the most important person?
Other than
LeBron.
Oh, well, if the Celtics are going to move on, I guess you got to go with Tatum, Horford for what he's done. But Tatum's won, 7 games in a row over 20 points, so he has to stay consistent like that. They've had a number of guys that have certainly stepped up for him. If you want me to pick one, I'll pick him. Sure. But it's not going to be the coach.
I think that Brad Stevens is very important in this matchup, no question. But because of he's not playing, I will also shove that as well. Our old teammate Merrill Hodge used to have this great line: coaches have all the power and no control, which means they can say do this, but the players have to do it. But I'll go another way. If it's not Brad Stevens, I'm going to say it's Kevin Love. Because, look, we know that there are a lot of weapons for the Celtics. But in the series against Toronto, Kevin Love was a factor.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons they were able to sweep. But LeBron's going to get his. I think we're clear about that. If Cleveland is going to advance, Kevin Love has to be the Kevin Love we saw against Toronto and not the Kevin Love we saw against Indiana.
The Rockets season should be considered a failure if they lose to the Warriors. Love it or shove it.
Here's the amazing thing. I know the Rockets have the number 1 seed, but does anybody think that they're the better team?
The Rockets?
The Rockets, no. The better team against what is now a healthy Golden State team. I don't think so. So while that's their goal and they put all their chips in to beat Golden State, I don't know how you can get to the point of one step away from the finals and the team in front of you is a team that is a better team than you.
Yeah.
And if you lose to them, while you may feel like the season is a failure because you didn't get where you wanted to go, it's tough to think of it that way when you say, we lost to which I think they will, lose to Golden State, and I think Golden State's a better team. So because of that, I'll shove that.
Well, here's the question. Who are you believing, GM Daryl Morey or head coach Mike D'Antoni? Because GM Daryl Morey says we are obsessed with beating the Warriors. We have to find a way to beat the Warriors.
Yeah.
Then Mike D'Antoni says, hey, if we don't win a championship, we still had a good season. So there have been two conflicting messages from the organization.
Well, I don't know if they're conflicting because Morey didn't say if we lose, it's a disappointment. He just said we're putting everything in all the chips in the middle of the table to beat Golden State, but Golden State's a better team.
I'm going to say because of what Daryl Morey has said, we are obsessed with finding ways to beat the Warriors. They have home court advantage. If they don't, I think it will be considered a failure just because of the standard they put out there.
Okay.
Either the Celtics or the Rockets will advance the NBA Finals.
Or Brettomology, or
love it or shove it.
I shove it. Neither one is going to make it. I think it's going to be Cleveland and Golden State again. I don't see either team winning more than 2 games. I don't see either series going more than 6 games in this one. So I will shove that and say Cleveland, Golden State meet yet again in the finals.
Yeah, part of me wants to say the Celtics because I think that they've been a better team all season long than Cleveland without their best 2 players, arguably, in Gordon Hayward and now with Kyrie Irving for the latter half of the regular season. But I think we're getting a 4-peat as well. I think if anyone's going to make it, I think it's going to be Boston. I'll put that caveat out there, but I'm going to shove that as well.
All right, we're loving it and shoving it with Bubba, the board op on the Will Kane Show, who is somehow grandfathered into this role, even though we'd much prefer Cliff to read these questions.
That's
What's
fair.
up next, Bubba?
I'm sorry, what?
I think I just stated it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know who doesn't want Cliff?
Who's that?
Granger.
Oh.
Can you say that with great certainty?
Absolutely. Talk to him every night.
Okay.
There you go.
John Granger, good guy. Both Dwayne Casey and Brett Brown will retain their head coaching jobs for next year. Love it or shove it.
Well, I think Brett Brown is for sure going to be back. He's not getting fired.
I don't understand how anyone can think Brett Brown should be fired.
I think it's
they
crazy.
won 15 games 2 years ago.
And Dwayne Casey, I mean, he just got voted by all the coaches who voted as their coach of the year. I think he'll be a casualty just because of we've been down this road before. We can't get over this hump, and now maybe we need to make a change, even though I think it's more for making a change for looking like we're making a change. So I do think he's going to end up being gone. So you said both though, so I'll shove it because Brett Brown is not going to be fired.
I'm gonna love it because I think everything that's come out of Toronto is like, hey, if it weren't for that one guy, we'd find a way. I mean, they did win 59 games. They were the number 1 seed.
I agree.
They have a deep bench.
I hope it's this, by the way. I don't want Dwayne.
I agree.
Fired.
The question then becomes, is the GM going to say, I did a bad job in building the team, or did Dwayne Casey do a bad job in coaching the team?
Right.
And if it comes down to that, I think the GM's going to say, it's that guy.
Yeah, it's that guy. I confess he did it.
Exactly. Let's see. But I'm gonna love this because I want it to be the case.
All right. And according to the Love It or Shove It bylaws, when the name Brett is in the question, we have to go to Brett.
I'm going to shove it. Jay Wright's going to take both jobs.
So that's just a way of getting Cookmaster Cliff into Love It or Shove It. Let's be clear about that.
What happened there?
The NFL draft should be in a different city every year. Love it or shove it.
So again, it was in New York from 1965 to 2014, but it's since been Chicago. Was there for 2 years.
Yep.
Philly for a year, Dallas for a year. Now it looks like it's going to go to Nashville. Absolutely. Keep barnstorming this thing. I think it's a huge, huge hit when it goes to other cities. Gives those cities a chance to showcase for a few days. NFL experience is there for fans as well for them to attend. So I love how they're doing this, and I hope they continue doing this. So I absolutely love this, and it should be in a different city every single year.
I'm going to love it as well. When I sat down with Roger Goodell before last year's draft in Philadelphia, he looked at me and saw the throngs of people in downtown Philly, and he said, I think we've outgrown an indoor venue forever. And even though the stadium, yes, we have a pick. Let's go to the commissioner. We have, even though it was inside AT&T Stadium last year, it spilled out to the Fan Fest outdoors. The draw, I mean, again, I ran into two people from Glasgow, Scotland, that came in for the draft. The draw and the event it's become, I think it'll be a traveling show that will continue everywhere. So I'm going to love this big time.
You're associated with the draft?
I am. Much in the same way you're associated with Granger.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
You
know what they should do?
Yeah.
Bring the draft to Hartford.
Why?
Hartford has it.
Just read the next question.
It is a veteran quarterback's responsibility to mentor rookie quarterbacks. Love it or shove it?
See, overall, I completely shove this thing. Now, there are situations where you have a bridge quarterback and you have a high-drafted rookie quarterback that you'd like them to kind of, oversee until they take over. But as far as the question is written, no, it's not a veteran quarterback's responsibility. It's the responsibility of the rookie to learn. And if that's learned by watching how a veteran does this thing, asking questions, to a veteran about certain situations, whether it's film or on the field, so be it. But to sit there and say it's a veteran quarterback's responsibility to mentor a rookie, I absolutely shove that.
Yeah, look, I'm going to shove it as well. Remember, Brett Favre basically said the same thing when they drafted Aaron Rodgers. It's not my job. And somehow Aaron Rodgers turned out fine. Now, do you have to be to the guy? No.
Yeah.
I think you have to be cordial. But you don't have to say, hey, buddy, let me tell you how to do all these things. Because one of the things that a quarterback has to be is a leader. One of the things a quarterback has to do is let the team come to him and believe in him. And you can't have somebody telling you how to do all that. That sort of has to happen generically.
Right.
And it has to happen almost organically.
Kind of organically, right.
So I think that has to happen on its own. So I'm going to shove that it's the responsibility. But at some point, you just can't be a you-know-what to the guy.
And according to the Love It or Shove It bylaws, you said the word Brett, so let's go to Brett.
I love it. You have to be a mentor. You go into a new job, you need the older people above you to show you how it works.
Is it their job to show you how it works, or your job to see how they work, take from how they're working, and then ask questions appropriately along the way?
Well, if you come into a new company and you start emailing your manager and they say,
okay, but there's the difference. Well, you
nothing.
just said the difference. That's your manager.
Yeah, but the way that everything is structured, you're the manager of your group.
Hold on a minute. That is a huge difference. If your title is manager, it is your job to manage and mentor those employees. That is a completely different dynamic than being another player competing for a job in a room.
So Are you saying that only Alex Smith has to mentor the younger QBs because he's a game manager?
No, I'm not saying that because I don't believe he's a game manager.
Oh my
and by
God.
the way,
Mr.
Alex Smith, when they drafted Patrick Mahomes last year, said, yeah, it kind of sucks because they drafted him to replace me. And look what happened. After the best year of his life, the best season of his career, they booted him out for a guy who started one game. So, no, you don't have to do that.
All right, Bubba, we got one more?
No, I think that's it.
No, I think we got one more.
We're all set.
No, we got one more.
You want me to read it then? Oh, Cliff, would you like to read this last
Cliff,
question?
why don't you read this?
I got you.
Thank you,
I
Cliff.
love this. I love this question, by the way. The Mets are the worst organization in New York. Love it or shove it.
Let's go to Brett first.
Shove it. That's idiotic.
No, the MTA is the worst organization in New York.
Oh, wow.
Fair.
Okay, what about sports organizations?
The Knicks.
Yeah, I think that's
It's not even close.
Shove it.
I think I would agree. I think it would be the Knicks.
I think it would
as
have
well.
To be. But hey, remember
just in the World Series.
Yeah, that seems like 8 years ago. Do you remember when we were having this discussion a couple weeks ago about who was the best team in baseball? And I said it's clearly the Red Sox, and you said it was the Mets. How's it worked out since then?
Doesn't really ring a bell. I don't know.
It doesn't ring a bell like getting the right lineup card. Also does not ring a bell for the Mets.
Wow.
So they've got some ish.
Best thing you can do now is just read the close here.
Yeah.
All right. Love it or shove it. Brought to you by Grainger. The products and services you need when you need them. Grainger's got your back to help keep your facility running. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're the
Good
best.
job, Bubba.
Bubba, you're the best. Oh, Tim Tebow called. He said he's busy the next 12 times he comes to work.
Come on, Tim. Well, at least I can hang out with John Grainger.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I feel like a whole new person.
Disclaimer, you will not become a whole new person. This is impossible. You might be able to join a gym or diet program, buy a new wardrobe, get hair implants, but your DNA and physical form will remain the same. Geico waives any and all liability if you attempt to become a new person, except a cyborg. If you choose to become a half-human, half-cybernetic organism with lasers for eyes, the Geico legal team would be cool with that, because, quote, laser eyes are pretty sweet. Pew, 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 end quote.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News, presented by Progressive Insurance. Is that the Chattahoochee? Way down there on the Chattahoochee. Nicely done.
Mm-hmm.
Presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. We got the fights coming up tonight. It is Linares versus Lomachenko.
Tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, yep.
Because Saturday night's all right for fighting, according to Elton John. Coverage begins at 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. And we are always delighted to break down the fights with the guy who knows a thing or two about all of it. Our ESPN boxing analyst and former trainer, Teddy Atlas. Teddy, how are we this morning?
Good, guys. Nice to see you.
Always good to see you,
Thank
Teddy.
God there's fights every once in a while. I never see you guys.
I know.
We'll never be to this part of the building.
It feels like a penalty then. We apologize for that. So what do we think about this matchup? It looks like there's a lot of speed in this matchup. How do we feel this matchup's going to go down?
Yeah, the speed's on the side of Lomachenko. Lomachenko is the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in my estimation. Crawford comes in second. But Lomachenko, technically, he's better than anybody. He's got speed. He's not a huge puncher, but he catches you clean. He takes you apart piece by piece. And he's kind of like Neo in the Matrix. Nothing hits him. I don't know about bullets, how he'll do with that. But as far as punches, he's slipping, he's sliding, everything's going past him, but he's finding you. He's going to break down Linares. In my estimation, he'll break him down slowly, methodically, take him apart, get to him.
So again, Lomachenko has a WBO super featherweight champ, and Linares is a WBA lightweight. So he's going up, Lomachenko, a weight class for this to try and get this title. So what are the negatives to that, and what can be not in his favor from that standpoint?
Well, one little bit of a negative, you get hit by a bigger guy. That's not so much fun.
Not so much fun.
Can't confirm, by the way.
That can be, you would understand, I guess. that wouldn't be good. But this is the third weight class he's going up. In the old days, when boxing was the biggest sport in the country, the golden era, the 30s to 40s to 50s, there were a lot of catchweight fights where the smaller guys went up and beat bigger guys. You know why? Because they were better. Yeah. Let's keep it simple. They were better. And you were still better even though you were at a bigger weight class. You get up there too much, and the other guy has the skill sets to match. Okay, different story. Now he's got an edge because he's got the skill sets to use the size advantage. Very important. It's one thing, to go fight a bigger guy, but if you're faster, you're slicker, you're smarter, which Lomachenko is, the size doesn't really count as much. And in this case, I don't think it counts as much. Linares, a patient guy, a guy that's got 47 fights, but a guy that's been knocked out 3 times. I think it's going to be an even number. I think it's going to be 4.
So in your mind, where is that line of jumping up? How many times you move up and where you move up to where it's counterproductive?
It's a good question. It depends on your genetics. It depends on your body size. A guy like Crawford, he could move up because he's long. He can fill into those. He still can have where he may lose one advantage as far as just plain old weight. He has another advantage where he's still longer. He's still taller. And he's still bigger, even though he's supposedly the smaller man. So it depends on genetics. It depends on your body size, your skeleton. Can you fit moving forward? Can you go up into those classes and fit into those classes in a proper way? And again, skill sets.
Yeah.
You're gonna go up in weight. If you're still not getting hit, hey, Whether it's a big guy missing you or a little guy missing you, they're missing you.
Right.
And that's what makes Lomachenko go forward. He makes guys miss, and he doesn't miss.
Teddy Atlas with us, our boxing analyst in studio, giving us the Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts. This is one of the things that's always fascinated me about boxing, the ability for some guys to move up and down in weight classes and not affect not only their record, but their punching power. You know, some guys, when they go up in weight class, suddenly that punch against littler guys isn't there against some of the bigger guys. Over all the years you've watched, who is the best at moving up and down in weight classes and still maintaining his ability, but also his punching power?
Well, I mean, first of all, to your point, punches are born, they're not made.
Right.
You have power, it's going with you.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's for the most part, it's going up, it's going to go up with you. I mean, there's guys that, there was guys back in the old days. There was a guy named Lou Jenkins. He was skinny, he looked like he needed a meal. I mean, like you would offer him, you okay? You haven't eaten for a while. But he could hit you on top of the head and fracture your ankles. Yeah. I mean, and he could move up, skinny as hell, move up. It didn't matter. If he hit you, you were going to be affected. There's, you know, through the recent history, in our time, this contemporary time now, I would say, I'm trying to think, you know, Duran moved up.
Yep.
He was still, now he's a pretty good example. Duran was a lightweight. He moved all the way up to middleweight. And he was still affecting guys. Now, part of it was, hands of stone, what you just touched on, that you had power. But part of it was technique.
Yeah.
You still have to have the technique to deliver the punch. You know, my mentor, Customato, who I thought was the greatest boxing mind of all time, he used to say to me, listen, Teddy Atlas, you got to understand that having a punch is like having a military weapon. It has no value unless you have a delivery system, a missile, to get it to the target. Otherwise, it's just going to blow up, make a big hole in the ground, and when it rains, you go swimming. That's how he would get things through to me. He said, so, you could have a punch, but you got to teach him. You got to teach him to have the delivery system, to have the technique. So again, to the point, Duran carried his weight carried his punch pretty damn well. But it was because he was such a smart fighter, because he had the delivery system that carried him even when he went up in class.
Former trainer, now our boxing analyst, Teddy Atlas, joining us in studio here, Golic and Wingo. From the look of boxing overall, when you had the Alvarez Triple G fight cancel with Alvarez testing positive, and they'll eventually fight again. So while it looked like a negative, they didn't fight there. Will it turn into a positive now that you wait longer, but everybody still wants that rematch? It'll still be this monster thing?
Yeah, people will be, chomping at the bit. The boxing, it turns out like they wait for the audience, they wait for the fans, to have their tongue hanging out. Like they're going across the Mojave Desert, and they got and they're praying to see anything. And even if they want to see an oasis, and even if it's a mirage, they're gonna grab it. And that's how it works in boxing. That's how the Pacquiao Mayweather fight. They waited, and there was nothing on the horizon, and they were in the desert, and the fans were crawling along, and they thought they saw something. Oh my God, there it is. There's the oasis in the middle of the desert. There's Pacquiao and Mayweather. When they got to it, it was sand in their mouth.
And money out of their pocket.
Money out of their pocket. It was a mirage. That's boxing.
Right.
That's boxing. So you just hope it's not a mirage when you get to it.
Yeah.
And that's
but you're going to it.
But you're going to it because there's nothing else there, because your tongue is hanging out, because the promoters don't give a damn about anything other than lining their pockets. And if they have to make you wait, if they have to set it up that sort of way, that's what they'll do. And they will wait until the prime time.
So when do you think that prime time is?
It's going to be September, because it's going to be Mexican Independence Day.
Yeah.
I don't need to be the Mason Kreskin to figure that one out. Perfect. They messed up on Cinco de Mayo. They messed up on that one. So you have the great Mexican audience that brings in the pay-per-view money. That's what makes Canelo so powerful, besides his left hook to the body. And it works perfect. September, 6 months. Why'd they give it 6 months? Boxing is a joke sometimes. Why'd they give it? It's so predictable. I wish I could predict other things as easy as I could predict with boxing. Why did they make it a 6 month suspension?
Right.
It just happens to fall right into September.
We had no idea this was going to play out
We didn't
this
know
way.
that. Is that on your calendar? It wasn't on mine.
So again, for tomorrow night at MSG, 8 o'clock on ESPN, Lomachenko moving up a weight class to fight Linares and try and take his lightweight title. Lomachenko has only had 11 fights. You think he's the best fighter in the world, pound for pound. What's his ceiling?
Age. That's all. What is he, 30 years old? No, his ceiling is age when he gets old. There is no ceiling for this guy. There is no. I mean, look. If he went up to 140 and you got a guy named Mikey Garcia, here's to my point again. Yeah. Mikey Garcia, that's another step up, another way. But he is a top fighter. He's a guy that knows how to control range. He's a guy who's a surgeon with his punches, real precision, light. I mean, this is a high-level fighter. So if he moves up there, maybe that is the cutoff where it's too much. Maybe not because it's 140 pounds, but because Mikey Garcia is that kind of fighter. But as far as anything else, this guy is just technically and mentally above everybody else. He really is Neo in the Matrix. Everything slows down for him. The great ones, it slows down. You talk to Michael Jordan, you talk to LeBron, you talk to Brady. I mean, things slow down for him for them. And that's what the special ones do. They're calm in an uncalm environment. Mm-hmm. And that's what Lomachenko is calmer. Everyone sees the speed. They see the skills. They see the technique. They say, oh, yeah, he's doing that. He's doing that. But what they don't see is that he's calmer than anyone else, so he sees more of the picture clearer than anyone else. Where everyone else is going 1,000 miles an hour and there's chaos and there's fire going on. Everything is slow, and he sees everything before they see it. And that is the mental side, and that also, you just touched on something. You mentioned the amount of fights that he has. Doesn't sound like a lot of fights. A lot of people say, oh, my God, how did he progress to the place where Teddy Atlas is talking about with that? He had 400 amateur fights.
Wow.
Okay? When you're in the ring 400 times, get what? Yeah. You get used to it.
Yeah. You understand what it's all about. Teddy, as always,
Thanks,
great
Teddy.
seeing you. Listen, come on as often as you want. Just stop in every once in a while. We'll talk about anything,
if
right?
you don't mind, I'd like to come by once.
We don't mind that at all.
Thank you.
And we start off the top with what is important to say at a golf event. No, just kidding. It's 112-106. I have no idea what that was.
I don't either.
What was that? Meanwhile, the fourth meeting of the season between former teammates Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. Nice try. Brought out strong performances for each of the Warriors. Good start for Shohei Ohtani, right? A little bit of everything. Seriously, what was that?
That was awful. Stanzik,
you want to stop giggling for a minute?
That was Allie saying it's in the hole.
Okay. That was Allie?
Stanzik. Yeah.
Sweet Moses.
It's in the hole.
Thank you. That was better.
Much better.
And we finish up with the Masters Par 3 contest. Starts today at 3.
It's awful.
We take golf very seriously here.
Awful. Forward Thinking brought to you by Cintas, a trusted partner of businesses everywhere. Cintas, ready for the workday, and it seems that Hadley and Cantley were ready for the workday today.
You got that right.
Both are 3 under. Cantley through 5 and Hadley through 10, both sitting at 9 under for the tournament now, sharing the lead.
Yep. SportsCenter brought to you by Discover Card. Become a new card member, and Discover Card will match all the cash back you've earned, dollar for dollar, at the end of your first year. Learn more at discover.com/match, and as always, limitations apply.
So, don't think you'll be adding to the Tiger file this weekend.
He has had birdie putts on 3 straight holes inside 15 feet, and he's missed all 3.
He's going to make the cut, but the
way the scoring is going.
Well, I mean, that's this morning. We'll see what the guys this afternoon are playing. It's supposed to be a little tougher for them.
He's got to, but see, you're right, because he's playing in the morning.
Nice to get a few under, though. I mean,
he's already had a par 5 because they start on the backside at 11 that he didn't make a birdie on.
Yeah.
But he literally has had birdie putts inside of 15 feet for 3 straight holes.
Putter letting him down. Did last week. Yep. Not hitting the putts now. So
all right. Speaking of you, we got to do the snack streak for the snack.
Yes, we do.
Now, 2 weeks ago, you picked the Yankees to beat the Angels.
Yep.
Which you were correct.
Yes, I was.
So now you've moved up. It was just office candy found around the office.
Yeah, what we're doing is I'm picking, I either get a choice of taking the candy or treat or picking a game. And the more I get right, the bigger the treat gets. So the first round is snacks found around the office. I got that right. Yeah. So now I either pick a game or take
the bite-sized candy, which is a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
By the way, one of the greatest candies of all time.
Phenomenal.
One of the greatest candies of all time.
And if I were to eschew that.
Yes.
And go for the win, if I get to 3 in a row.
You get a full-size
candy bar. 4 in a row. The choice would be pick a game or take a box of donuts. And if I get that right, it's pick a game or take a cake. Let me just tell you right now, if I get to the cake, I don't care what the game is. It could be a pro team against a youth little league team. I'm taking the cake, just so you know.
Okay. But are you like a cake or a sheet cake guy? Is there a difference?
Is a sheet cake a cake?
Yes.
Okay.
No, but I mean, some people are very specific to sheet cake.
I am specific to cake.
Yeah.
As long as you don't have any fruit in it.
You're like.
I don't want any compote in it or anything like that.
You're like the scene from Office Space. You celebrate the entire collection.
Entire catalog.
Okay, so here's the bite-sized candy is on the line.
Okay.
You can take this right now and enjoy its peanut butter chocolatey goodness. Or you can put it on the line for a full-size candy bar. And the game in question is Game 1, Eastern Conference Finals. Celtics hosting Cleveland. ESPN Radio 3, or watch the game at 3:30 on ABC.
Wow.
So what are you doing?
Wow.
By the way, Celtics have home court. Cavs are favored.
Wow.
There you go. Brad Stevens, second most important person in this series.
No, he's not. But
this candy.
It is good. And I did take that in one of these Fridays. I did eat that. So I've had it once, so I'm going to go for the pick.
You're going for the pick. Okay, now, more importantly, you have eschewed this, which means I get to eat it. That's a win for me.
Yeah, it is.
But most importantly, do you go head or heart here? Because everybody knows your love of all things Cleveland.
Sure.
But the Celtics are the higher seed for a reason. Or etymology, or do you look at all the experience that LeBron James has? Over 9,580 career playoff minutes. The entire Celtics roster, only 8,000 plus playoff.
I'm going with Cleveland here. I think they take.
He is going with Cleveland.
Going with Cleveland, and that's not just with my heart. That's with my head as well.
Because of the minutes.
I think
of the stats.
Oh, not that stat. I mean, it's a good stat, but I think they're just playing better now.
Okay.
I mean, Kevin Love has been playing great, and others have stepped up. Kyle Korver, J.R. Smith has stepped up. Other people are stepping up for them, but. Boston, boy, they are athletic and young, no doubt about it, and playing very well.
So, with that in mind, who is the second Cav that must step up tonight if your Cav is
Well, Love. I mean, Kevin Love. That's why I asked Carlos Boozer. It's got to be LeBron, Kevin Love, and then who is that next guy that needs to be consistent for them?
Yeah.
But Kevin Love absolutely has to, and Kevin Love has been that guy the last couple of games.
He has been down the stretch. By the way, make sure you are with us Monday because we are launching something that I think will have attention of a lot of people.
Yes.
And it does involve why Mike Jr. was wearing a male romper on a golf course.
And involves good things for all of you listening and viewing out there.
And one of the good things is Mike will never wear a male romper on a golf course again.
Well, I don't think we can
So
say
again,
that.
we got the Eastern Conference Finals starting on Sunday, but in the Stanley Cup, we got the Caps at Lightning tonight and the Golden Knights at the Jets tomorrow. So,
as they say in hockey, let's do that.